Hello, hello. Don't sleep. Sleep is boring with us. So hang out with us. True. All right. I think this stupid thing is finally working. So, yes. Welcome, everybody. I've said this about 7 times, but most of the times I was talking to myself, apparently, which is all good. And according to this amazing software, I have 12 people watching, which is a lot. Wow. It's kind of weird because there seems to be more than 12 people talking in the chat, but hey, what do I know? Hi from Namibia. Wow. Hello from Vienna. Vienna is awesome. We went to Vienna for New Year's, I want to say 3 years ago. I don't know when exactly, but it was amazing. Um, I wasn't expecting this, but the entire, what do they call it, Old Town or Old Downtown area was closed. It was closed for most business, and they had 7 different stages with different bands all across that little area. So you could just walk from free concert to free concert to free concert. And by the way, how is my volume level? Because according to the little gauge, it seems like it's too loud, but I was hearing from some people that previously it was too quiet, so I've turned it up a little bit. Good evening from the Kong. I assume that you mean you live in King Kong's bedroom. So hello to you, Africa. From Canada, Yerevan AM. I have no idea what that is. Australia, I know Australia. Hello, Adrian. Hi from the Netherlands, beautiful place. I'm in Shanghai, distant. Hi from Indonesia. I miss all these places I used to be able to go to. Too quiet. Brennan says it's too quiet. That sounds like a lie to me. How's everybody else hearing? Volume okay? Too low? Just be honest, guys. I can adjust it. I can't really hear what you guys hear because, Shunjo says your volume is good. Hi from Canada. Oh, AM is Armenia. Okay. I never knew that. Hi from the UK. 2 people in a row. Well, the only thing that I know about Armenia, other than a little bit of the history, is Armenians that I've met in Los Angeles, which is basically the second Armenia. For those who don't know, there's a lot of Armenians in Los Angeles. And for the most part, I've actually gotten along with most Armenians that I've met. They seem pretty cool. So that's pretty much all I know about it. Where's the whiskey? The whiskey's still back there. I'm not drinking quite as much as I used to, given my health situation, which, by the way, I need to go in a month to check up. I actually went to the hospital the other day, and they said, don't be so eager. It's not time to check up yet. You need to wait another month, and then we compare the scans, and then we can see if this tumor is growing, at what speed is it growing, etc. So I do drink a bit, but I'm trying not to drink casually, just kind of hanging out at home, working or whatever. I'm kind of slowing down on that a bit, trying to catch up on sleep. And because I'm doing this new video format, I actually am slowly recovering from all the stress of doing all the other work. Are you a Marxist, Nathan? No, I'm not a Marxist. I'm not actually, I don't really consider myself very political because a number of reasons. But basically, no, I'm not an anythingist. I just think that the way that my country and parts of my culture deal with other countries and other cultures has some residual negative aspects to it that I'd like to improve, basically. Quit drinking. So is the Kardashian. Yes, oh yeah. Right. Serena Hadi knows all about that. The Kardashians apparently also Armenian. I like the Marx Brothers. Okay, anyway, nobody's super chatting me, so I'm ignoring all chat. Just kidding. So I assume that we're all here to watch me play video games, right? Old DOS games. So, in all seriousness, though, it has been a pretty crazy week, as I'm sure everybody realizes. The United States is falling apart, essentially. I mean, hopefully it'll be able to put itself back together, but it's really been a struggle to watch this news from a personal and kind of emotional point of view. It's not good what's going on. So Pence said that he wasn't going to try to get Trump thrown out under the 25th Amendment, which I think probably is, I mean, I don't want to say if it's good or bad, but it does make sense why he wouldn't want to do that for a number of reasons. And now, of course, we're looking at potential impeachment. That will be voted on, I believe, today, America time. So it's about 6 a.m. in Los Angeles right now. Trump being impeached twice is one of the craziest things that I could imagine. But it really does go to show you how hated in certain circles, you might say, Trump has been throughout his presidency, and not really before his presidency, I might add. I know that most international people had probably never really heard of Donald Trump, or at least not as much as Americans, before he ran for office. But, you know, I've been to New York many times, and I've been all over America, and you tend to hear his name a few times before he ran. He's around, but kind of on the street, the way we, I guess, sort of thought of him is as basically a business guy who's shrewd and kind of a jerk, but, you know, tough and gets it done. He had like a Trump Tower type of thing. He had, you know, rich, business, shrewd kind of guy. But definitely I never heard anything about him being a racist or about him being a whatever, any of these bad things that he's been called. That all didn't really start until much later. And it's kind of interesting as a side note to watch, what was his show called? What was that show called that Trump was on? It was that show where people would try to like be his The Apprentice. Yes, they'd be his apprentice. Watching The Apprentice is really weird now because it's before he ran for office, obviously, and it's just very interesting to see him interacting with people in the context of this little game show or whatever it is, and comparing it to how he's portrayed now. Because in the game show, I mean, he's talking to black people, he's talking to women, he's talking to men, he's talking to rich people, to poor people, to successful people, to movie stars. And you know, it's fake because it's a TV show, but it is interesting to see his interactions and then kind of think about how he's portrayed now. Oh, sorry. 听不懂英文. Sorry about that. Well, you can wait for the video, but you don't know what I'm talking about, so I will cut it. Well, this is boring. Tell us something we don't already know. Uh, tell us something we don't already know about Trump. Well, I'm not knowledgeable about Trump, to be honest with you. I don't really care about him. But it is interesting, anyway, to go back and see that stuff into context. And it's almost more interesting now to look at that stuff because he's probably the most hated president in my life. I mean, George Bush was really, really hated, but it was still a managed level of hate. I mean, things just went on, but people also kind of talk crap about George Bush. Trump is now at the level that I don't want to say unprecedented because I don't know all of the 1800s presidents or whatever, but certainly in my life this is out of control. So we can see that, for example, YouTube is suspending President Donald Trump's channel. You've got Facebook, Twitter, cutting him out. I even heard somebody said TikTok as well. So the U.S. is changing. The U.S. is morphing into something. The real fear and question is, what is that going to be? But what about this impeachment? What about Donald Trump's impeachment? I think that he should be impeached because if we take a look here, he is being impeached. Okay, impeached is not kicked out of being the presidency. Impeached is basically a trial to do that. But he's being impeached on charges of secessionism and insurrection, right? And I think that that's something that surely we can all agree he's guilty of. Because we've got tons of evidence that that he's behind insurrection. So if we take a look at this, sorry, it took me a second to find this thing. Let me make it big. Incitement of insurrection. Okay, so what's insurrection? Incitement means to cause something, right? To create the instance of something. Insurrection, an act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government. Okay? So, if you cause revolt against civil authority or an established government, that is insurrection. So if you incite an insurrection, then you could be charged with inciting an insurrection. And we know for sure that he has done it. Now, I don't know why they keep showing all these pictures of the United States with these American flags and these weird images here, because I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, which has run for 4 years now under Trump. And the NED is a subject that has gotten a lot of attention recently, but in light of the fact that we're going to be essentially charging this person with inciting an insurrection, I just thought it would be worthwhile to show you some proof of that. So this agency operates under Donald Trump, and it says that it's supporting freedom around the world. Freedom, okay? So here in Hong Kong, China, interesting, by the way, that they put in parentheses China here. You do see that, right? This is the NED website. Okay. So, this says, engage in Sorry about that, everybody. Not sure if I'm back or not, but it says I'm back. Am I live? Oh, I hate this stupid thing. It's so hard to tell. Okay, back. All right. Sorry, everybody. So, I don't know what I was talking about when it cut off, but here's the point. Rule of law and freedom are two things that the United States uses to push for at the same time in other countries. And this is such a powerful combination of things because I see this all the time in reports about China and other places, by the way. The word rule of law is thrown around. So if a country has, let's say, crime, then they'll say, oh, they don't have the rule of law there. If a country has corruption, they'll say they don't have rule of law there. If the country has anything in which people are violating the law, then they say there's no rule of law. Except if those rules go against what the United States calls freedom, which is not a universally accepted definition of freedom because there isn't such a thing. And so what you get when it comes to China is a very interesting thing. With Hong Kong, what they do is they say, well, there's no rule of law over there because the people want their freedom. And you know, it's not rule of law to not give them their freedom. So it's not rule of law because central government in China has enacted anti-secession, anti-insurrection laws. That's not following the rule of law because Hong Kong should be enabled to enact its own laws. Okay, that's their argument. Now, that's totally false because Hong Kong itself is obligated to follow Article 23 of its basic law, which essentially does the exact same thing. So I've mentioned this before. This is something that nobody likes to talk about because it totally undermines this ridiculous concept that is a violation of the rule of law for China to bypass local management of something. And then what America does is it throws out this concept of freedom, but it's only freedom that aligns with American interests, you'll notice. It's the freedom to become consumers of American goods. It's the freedom of Chinese people in mainland China to become addicted to McDonald's, to become Target shoppers, to shop at Walmart, to buy Tide. That's the freedom that they really want from China, in my opinion. And the rule of law is used in multiple ways. Another way that they use it is when China does follow its own laws and makes people follow the law, then they say, oh, China's so strict. Oh, they're really cracking down on people. Gosh, that's so bad. And when they don't have laws in an area, maybe that area is underdeveloped, or maybe they don't have laws for it yet. Then it's, oh, there's no rule of law. It's just this constant back and forth. This is a screw that they can turn on a country to constantly complain. Either it's too tough, or it's not tough enough, or it's exactly how as tough as it should be, but the laws are different than we want it to be. And they just bounce their opinions back and forth, and it constantly gives these very weird conflicting ideas about China at the same time. Often I will read an article or several articles in a day and find that all these claims are being made about China at the same time. You can also see this about military. You see claims about China's military. Oh, they're, don't worry, they're super weak. Oh, they're backwards. They don't know what they're doing. And then the next one is, wow, they're a big threat and they're super advanced and they have all this technology. And it's just bizarre. It's really, really bizarre, but it's something to look forward to. It's something to look for. So NED funding a report on how Hong Kong's prosperity hinges on the strength of its rule of law and freedoms, and will advocate for this crucial link. Okay, so this is Donald Trump's organization called the NED. He's running this thing, and it is directly supporting, pushing the American concepts of rule of law and freedom. Now, I don't mean that those are created by America, and I don't mean that those are unique to America. What I mean is, it's the version of those things which America has deemed necessary in other countries. He's pushing for those things to happen in a country that isn't America, which obviously expanded into a revolt and an insurrection and storming government buildings and everything else that I keep hearing about in the news recently. I guess apparently it's also happened in the United States or something, but it's already been happening, caused by Donald Trump, for a year. So, in short, he should be impeached for the incitement of insurrection that he caused in Hong Kong. I don't know why it's taken so long, but I agree. And everything else that's happened in America, on the one hand, I do feel the pain because it's my country. And on the other hand, it's kind of, I kind of just feel like, well, in a way, you kind of deserve it because this is what you do to other countries. Only usually in other countries, it doesn't end up as light a resolution as this one has so far. Hugo Chavez, Master of Magic stream. I would love to do one. I would. I'm really thinking about it. All right, don't get me worked up about NED. I'm going to go crazy here. But these are really my comments about Trump being impeached. Is like, yeah, he should have been impeached a year ago, as should have every other president that's been supporting this type of attempts at regime changes in other countries. The thing that's happening to America is a somewhat weaker form of what we intentionally do to other countries all the effing time. All the time. So I don't really feel that bad for the United States government from that point of view. I mean, sorry. There's only so many news videos from CNN and CNBC and all these other places that I can watch whining and crying and complaining about how unsafe everybody was in the government building and how, big and bad the right wing was. I just can't really take that so seriously when I know that this is the exact same thing that every American is paying for with their taxes in several other countries. And they don't care, or they don't know. And I don't know which one's worse. If you go around asking Americans how they feel about the fact that the United States attempts to cause insurrections in other countries, honestly, I don't know which I would rather hear, that they didn't know that that was happening or that they actually support it. They're both horrible. Thank you. Keep it up. Appreciate it. Bro, you are a cool dude. Would love to meet you someday in China. I assume you're talking to me and not somebody else in the chat because you said a good thing. If you said you're a jerk, then I assume you're talking to somebody in the chat. So this whole thing about Trump, I know you guys can get political commentary from people in America who actually care about the in and outs of every little political bill and back and forth, and those people have some interesting perspectives. But from my perspective, again, it's like I don't even really, on some level, I don't even really care that it's gotten this far in America, because at least someone out there will get some idea, some concept of like, oh yeah, it's not really that fun when you're afraid for your government because a bunch of people storm your government buildings. And it's just not as It's just not as important to me that this is happening now as it is that we do it to other people, other countries, because there's something different about that which happens in your own home and that which someone else's home does to you, you know? Who would you recommend to listen to about political commentary in the USA? Honestly, I get so annoyed by most of them that I give them a spin for a while, and then I give up and move on to somebody else, and that's maybe not their fault, but there's so many of them. Take your pick. But the thing that's affecting me locally more, I live here in China. Chris Hedges, oh God. The thing that affects me more. The thing that affects me locally here living in China is the fact that COVID-19 is kind of having a mini resurgence. And this is something that I have a different view of than some people out there. Since about 6 months ago, when COVID-19 had pretty much just disappeared from China, since back then I've been telling people that there's going to be some kind of second wave. And the reason is, well, there's a few reasons, but one reason is it had already started spreading and spreading and spreading, and this was months and months after the U.S. had warning, but of course it didn't really seem to do anything. And they just kind of let everybody get infected, and the whole world is now very infected. But China isn't. Percent-wise, China doesn't have COVID at all. I mean, 100, 200, 500 cases, that's just nothing. Percent-wise, statistically, it doesn't exist. But the problem is, if you have a country that nobody's sick in and everybody else is sick, well, you can't just keep everyone out of your country forever. It just doesn't work. At some point, there's interactions. And vaccination is what people always say about this, but the thing is, there's no such thing as 100% foolproof vaccinations that cure you of the ability to be infected. You're not immune just because you get a vaccination 100% of the time for every single person. That's just not how it works. And not to mention that every single person in the entire world is not going to be vaccinated. And even if they were, it staggers. There's many problems with this concept, but there will almost certainly be more cases this year. I think 2021 for China is going to be a lot of running around, stamping out fires when it comes to the strategy of keeping COVID under wraps. And everybody in China that I've talked to and interacted with understands that. We're appropriate levels of nervous. We're fine. We're not upset. We're doing what we got to do. Hubei is very much, locked down, very much locked down at this point. I live in Beijing, which is in the north. Geographically, if you're not familiar with China, I essentially live in Washington, D.C., whereas Hubei is Virginia. So in other words, Beijing is in Hubei, even though the governance is not set up that way. Geographically, it's basically in Hubei. So this province around this city is in lockdown. Probably that means Beijing will be getting locked down soon. I haven't heard any rumors or anything. I'm just saying that it's not a far stretch to imagine that a lot of cases have gotten in or crossed this imaginary border, which is just a drive away. So what does that mean? Well, it means that everywhere is going to have to deal with this type of situation. It also lends a little bit to of credence to the idea that herd immunity is something that's eventually going to happen. But it puts us in a weird situation, because we're kind of like the clean country that is always stamping things out, that's rushing to get vaccinations out, but at the same time, we've got 1.5 billion people. I mean, do you know how long it would take to vaccinate all those people? That's crazy. So I think that, contrary to everybody's wishful thinkings for 2021, in China, I don't see any way that we're going to be able to fully ride out 2021 without having to worry about COVID. I think it's going to be a constant situation of this building is shut down, this community is shut down, 20,000 people are moving here, moving there, a bunch of people being quarantined, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just something that we need to deal with. Joel, in a previous live stream, you mentioned TYT to be part of the problem. Don't remember exact context, but what's your thoughts on TYT? Well, TYT they're a certain form of the left that personally I view as very much part of the mindset that is imprisoned in American understanding. In other words, no data. This piece of crap. Welcome back, everybody. No technical difficulties happening over here at all. If anything has been going on wrong with this screen, by the way, it's on your side, okay? So I hope that everything that I just said for the last 10 minutes totally answered your question, Joel, because man, was that in depth. And I did all that research that we went over just now. I really hope that your super chat had just a great answer. Okay, what do I think of TYT? They're trapped in the American way of thinking. I think they're just so un-international, if you will, that it's hard for me to watch them. I've seen a lot of their stuff. I've also seen stuff that attacks them or criticizes them quite a bit. To me, I don't really have a strong interest in these types of commentators because they focus only on America, primarily on America, on American politics, left versus right in America, etc. And it's just not that fascinating to me. All in all, I'd say there's a lot more interactions that I think that they could benefit from doing when it comes to people that are on the left. And they also, you got to respect them for being a sort of alternative to the mainstream Democratic movement, but I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I'm not really into that type of political commentary. I think that they've been called out quite a lot of times with racial identity politics and being a bit too extreme on the on that side of things, etc. Would you consider yourself a Marxist? You're the second person to ask me that this stream. No, Jason, thank you for the chat. I am not a Marxist, primarily because I don't really consider myself a political person, and that when I read political theory, it all seems very I don't know, distant from what I'm interested in. I have read The Communist Manifesto, I thought it was very interesting way to look at things. I mean, that's, I've read a bit about Maoism and various Chinese communist theory articles and writings, but mostly what I do is try to talk about the conversation itself and how we, as humans, really just seem dedicated to this idea that we need to lie to each other. I try to do that quite a bit. I don't necessarily try to recommend what countries and people should do, right? That's a bit different. Politicians are people who are educated in, theoretically educated in, and experts in, and proficient in politics and the control of people, whereas I'm just not those things. Now, I know this is kind of a loose answer, but basically I'm not really a anythingist, although I do find some of that stuff interesting. People you really gotta try to think of what to call me, huh? Libertarian? ? I don't know, dude. I'm a guy from California who thinks everybody should get along, and knows that in the real world that's not usually possible, but we can try to push that way. That's my whole political theory. Let's try to figure out a way to work together internationally. Read Das Kapital. I've read parts of Das Kapital. It's very, very big and long, and it's written basically like an instruction manual. It's a very, very terse. Now, having said all that, I don't have any problems with any of these political theories. I don't care, to be honest with you. I watch people who are communists. I watch people who are right-wing. I watch people who are progressive, first and foremost, like TYT. They're not exactly the mainstream leftists. They're more of just progressiveness above everything else. I watch people in the center. I don't really care. I'm just interested to see how we can all figure out a way to work together. My big thing is if America wants to be a certain way, cool, then we should do that. And if China wants to be a certain way, cool, then it should do that. But when you get into the realm of bodies interrupting other bodies, that's a real questionable place to be in. If you have a person and that person has any right at all, then the person should have rights over themselves. But does that person have rights over another person? That's where things get quite complicated. And I don't see why a family would be any different. A family has certain rights towards itself, but a family's rights towards another family, that's very complicated and problematic. Often problematic. And I don't see why that should be any different with businesses. And I don't see why it should be any different with counties or states or countries. And yet, for some reason, when we get to this country level, then magically all the rules are totally different. Now, the United States not only has the right to interject itself into the entire world, it has the duty to do so. And I'm just saying, hey, maybe there's a little more complication than America should just be allowed to do whatever it wants, and anytime you question it, there's something wrong with you. So that's not communism, obviously. That's not any ism. That's just, hey, maybe things in life are, objectively speaking, sort of programmatically speaking, they're objects that have attributes, and we can think about these things, and they have parallels. There's not a reason that I can think of that as soon as you get to the level of a nation, suddenly now all of the rules of how things work are discarded. Wesker Yuen, thank you. Nathan, do you think the slander and smearing on China from Western lamestream media is backfiring on themselves? And what's your take on it? It is backfiring a bit. It's not as much as it would need to correct anything, or to correct much, I should say. Before I started making videos, I was writing a book, and I was about to go to Chinese school, and I had just resigned from my last visual effects related company, and at that time things were getting pretty bad with the way that the West was talking about China in the media. It was much worse than when I first came to China in 2012. It still wasn't good then, but you would still occasionally see a good article or two. By the time 2018 rolled around, it was quite bad. And 2019, I would say, was absolutely the worst year I've ever seen as far as impartiality and journalistic standards when it comes to a lot of places, mostly in the West, and the way that they report about China. Now, again, of course, there's bad things, but it just seems weird that 2019 magically got so much worse in every way, everywhere across China, except when I live here. I don't know what they're talking about. Everything seems the same. In fact, it seems quite a bit better than it was back then. So where's all the hellfire that's raining down from the sky and the ground bubbling up with acid? Like, what are they talking about? This was the original kind of feeling that I had before I got into videos. Like, what are they? They're making it seem like we're living in hell over here, and actually it's pretty cool, and it doesn't seem to be getting worse at all. And this was sort of the original feeling. Hello. 3 months something Japanese. Hello, Nathan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. God is a dictator. Why the heck we talking about communism here? It ain't even practical. Well, it was asked of me. And nothing's really practical, as you can see. But there's levels of practicality. And generally, no, I don't support anything. I don't support anything. I just am a guy. And I just hope that we all can somehow have a better future. And this is the very interesting thing about politicians, is that I like to think, anyway, that politicians are people who are skilled in doing politics. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to be those people. I'm fine being me. But the difference between politicians and plumbers is that a plumber is someone who is skilled at plumbing, and I don't want to be one of those people either. But all you have to do to participate in politics is just start talking about politics. Whereas just talking about plumbing doesn't get you anywhere. So in other words, what I'm saying is, it seems weird to people the way that I view politics, but to me it seems totally normal. If I go to the doctor's office, I don't want to become a doctor. I just let him do his job, but that doesn't mean that I should steal his pen. It doesn't mean that I should try to fight my doctor, right? He is being him, and I can criticize him in some ways, and I can treat him decently in other ways. There's morality and things that go around this other person, and yet I still don't try to do his job for him. Whereas if we're talking about politicians, people just feel this inclination that like, oh, well, I should get involved in describing what I think the laws should be and how they should work, and every little detail of the bill, and how this international thing should work. And it's kind of like, well, you can have your opinion, but that doesn't take you to the level of a politician. At least it shouldn't. To me, these are just very similar jobs. Anyway, I'm rambling. Jesus Christ promoted communism and socialism. Okay. Well, everybody's talking about communism now. Well, probably not the right channel for that. So anyway, I didn't really have that much that I really wanted to go over today, but if you guys have anything else you want to talk about right now, I am available for the next few minutes before I hang up on y'all. At which point I will continue my playing Master Magic and working on the 4th Epic China of the main series. Greetings from Shanghai. Sun Tan, hey Nathan, have you ever met Tom Cruise during your Scientology days? No, but I was in the same. I was a few feet away from Tom Cruise's boyfriend, who is the head of the church. Nor would I want to meet Tom Cruise, by the way. He just seems like a piece of my distant past that I'm not interested in anymore. Situation in Hebei. How are things from your side? Well, I'll tell you. Here in Beijing, a few things have changed in the last week. When you get into a taxi, you have to scan the code now to prove to them that, your history is good, you're not affected or anything. Parts of Hebei are locked down, and buildings are more tight. Everybody's tightened up quite a bit. It's about at the same level as it was back in, I'd say, May of last year in Beijing, so not too bad. Nathan, did you know that Taiwan News is attacking you? Yeah. I don't care. A lot of times I get these comments of like, oh, so-and-so said this bad thing about you. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I wasn't popular before. I'm not going to be popular later. I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff. They know what they're doing. Do you like what China is doing handling Hebei now? Do I like it? This is exactly what I was just talking about. What does it matter if I like it? I'm not a politician. I'm not a citizen. I mean, do I like it? I like it if it prevents more deaths and spreading the disease. And I don't like it if it doesn't do that. Have you got the new variant of COVID there? I believe so. You are popular. Or even famous. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think people have watched my videos and they've been able to use some of the research that I've done, and they have been split by me. In some ways, some people have looked at my videos and thought that I was fake, which is one reason I wanted to do these live streams, because there's no fucking way that you can think I'm fake when you can ask me a question right here and now, and I'll tell you exactly what I think about it. I'm not perfect. I'm not good. I'm just a guy. And then there's people who thought, okay, some people thought I was fake. Some people thought he was he's backed by the government. He's backed by a company. Somebody writes for him. No, it's literally just me, and it's a lot of work. And I remember one time I posted this video called Inside Coronavirus Affected Beijing or something like that. This was the first video that I did outside, which was a step that I had to take because, again, people are so stupid out there that they think that just because you're sitting in a room, oh, that's a studio and everything's being fed to him. He's got wires going into his brain. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go outside. And I remember I went outside, and it's literally just my girlfriend and me. She's holding a little camera that I bought her. No one else. We're just walking around making a video. That's it. And there's a part in the video where I say something like, I know there's a lot of people who out there who will think that, he's being told what to say or whatever. No, I'm just speaking for me. Okay. I said something just like that. But when I said that, I said, no, it's just me. Something like that. I put like a, or or something like that. I don't remember what. So I edited it out. Okay. So the end effect of the video is I go, blah, 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 blah. And then it jumps. I'm just talking for me. You know what I mean? It's a little cut. And one of the comments on that part was, oh, you're speaking for yourself? What was that cut right there? As if like I had a trainer come over to me and tell me like, no, you can't say this. You got to say that. I mean, the level of delusion of these people who think that about me is actually comical. And there's people in my life who actually get really affected by the things that people say about me online. But they're the first to tell you, like, of all the people who should be affected by this the most, Nathan is, he should care the most. And he doesn't care. Like, often he doesn't even watch those videos, or he doesn't even bother to, like, skim the article. That's me. I don't really care. That's one of my strengths and weaknesses. If I cared, maybe I could change my videos and become more popular. But I don't. That's just me. I'm totally lost now. What the hell was I talking about? So I don't really think that I don't view that as popularity. I think that nobody was doing what I was doing. Nobody was just saying, hey, let's try to remove emotionality and just examine facts, and let's just present this. Now, I've had a pretty weird life, and I'm admittedly kind of a weird dude. So maybe that makes what I say a little bit more interesting than something that you're going to find on a run-of-the-mill channel. But I'm just happy that people find use in what I say and find my perspective helpful. That's all. What's your opinion of other pro-China YouTubers like Jiayo Nation? Well, I'm not a pro-China YouTuber. I hate to even call myself a YouTuber because this just seems weird to me. This is something I'm doing because I want to talk to you guys about this stuff. If there's another way to do this that doesn't involve making videos, let me know. What's my opinion about them? I don't know. What's your opinion about other pro-China YouTubers like Jiayo Nation, Barrett, Guelo, 60, and so on? I don't really have an opinion. I don't care. Good for them. They can do whatever they want. I met one of those people. I met one of those channels once for 5 seconds. That was it. I've never really talked to any of them. I don't know anything about them. I occasionally watch their stuff. Good for them. Somebody out there who's a foreigner has to show what life is like from that perspective. Cool. It just really doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know how to express what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like if you ask me, like, hey, what do you think about these people who are backpacking in Germany? I don't know. What am I supposed to think? Nothing. I know what it's like in China. I live here, so I tend not to watch most of those channels, although occasionally I do. I saw some stuff recently. I guess London Times or UK Times or something wrote some hit piece on them about how they're all secretly government employees or whatever. Oh, yeah. Michael Zeng is bringing it up. Very offensively calling me Nath. Nath, have you heard that Jiayo has been accused of working for the CPP by the London Times? Yeah, I actually did see his video, the Jiayo reply video. I mean, there's a lot I could say about that. I think his video, it just, to me, it highlights the difference between a political video and a traveling video. I think that they're doing something to him that he may not even really realize. These types of attacks of trying to associate you with others, it's an intentional, deliberate tactic that I won't get into here, but those guys are going to be screwed if they it's on some level if that continues to happen to them. And that's a tough spot to be in. Nathan, you should visit Malaysia. I've been to Malaysia, man. Have you seen my Instagram? I was down there. I took a really sad, really wonderful photo of an enormous white board in the middle of this mall, and it said, it was messages for MH370, and it was just covered with all these messages. A lot of Chinese, a lot of locals. It was very touching. I've been there several times, actually. Anyway, anybody else have other stuff to talk about? Did you watch the video in which Sargon of Akkad interviewed China Uncensored guys? Oh, God. This is the other thing. People like... I actually believe the things that I'm saying. I believe that that these people are very bad for the stability of the world. I think they have bad intentions. I think that they're very dishonest. I think this and that and the other thing. And surprise, that means I generally don't enjoy watching their videos. I find them just totally obnoxious, complete liars. Could you describe how you found learning Mandarin? It is fun. It's fun. It's a challenge and it's fun. It's a bit different for me because this is my second language, whereas many people may find Mandarin to be their third language. So I not only have to learn Mandarin, but also need to learn what it's like to know a second language, if that makes any sense. Anyway, guys, it's been quite a while. This stream was meant to be just a bit more relaxed, kind of babble a little bit. So I hope you guys have gotten your fix on that. Have a nice day, Mr. Nathan. Stay safe. Did you hear FLG now controls the alt-right in America? Well, if they don't now, they will soon, since nobody seems to give a shit that they're just slowly taking over everybody. But in the end, honestly, that's going to cause a lot of damage now, and then it will self-destruct because there's just no way to defend the Falun Gong. It's such a disgusting, racist cult that either they're going to all set themselves ablaze or some other way that the movement will die if it takes over too much of the right. It can continue as long as people remain stupid about it, ignorant about it, and just think that, oh, they're just, they're just like peaceful Buddhists or something. There's a lot of issues with them. Thanks for the stream. So, one more. Let me ask you guys a couple of questions. I'm going to interview you, okay? This is your chance. How long should I be streaming for? Because this is like an hour and a half, and it's kind of late at night for me, so I'm a bit tired. Is this too long? Is this too short? I don't even know. I've never even talked to a streamer ever, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just doing this all by myself. An hour is good, Adam. Okay. I think for me, an hour is I can keep it snappy, get to the point, get out of there, go back to playing Master Magic as long as possible. Oh, God. 1 hour to an hour and a half. Okay. 50 minutes, 90 minutes is a sweet spot. 2 hours is usually the time. Some stream for the whole day. Oh, God. You guys don't want to watch me stream all day. You guys will be Master Magicked out. You guys will be experts in the Qing history if you stream with me all day. You'll be reading boring history books and all kinds of crazy stuff about China. Hello from Serbia. Wow. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you guys kind of agree. About an hour is pretty good. Hour and a half max. Perfect. Okay, that's good for me because I did a stream that one time. It was like 3 hours. I was deep into debunking a bunch of China Uncensored outright lies, and I was so burnt out I couldn't even take it anymore. I don't know how these video game dudes do it for 8 hours or whatever. It's very stressful. I guess maybe if I'm just sitting here playing video games and then like occasionally looking over, I don't know. How did China come to rise? How did China come to rise? Quick question right at the end. Go. Well, how China came to rise this most recent time, well, the second to most recent time, I guess you could say, is something I explore in Epic China. Somebody asked a while ago in this chat, sorry I didn't mention it, how many episodes will I be doing for Epic China? A lot. When is the next Epic China coming out? It should be next week. So if you want to get in on the credits for Epic China, now's the time to sign up. If not, just wait and you shall see it. 20 minutes. I think anything from 20 minutes to 1 hour is good. 20 minutes. It takes me 20 minutes just to connect. Do eating food streaming sometime. Okay. Everybody, let's examine this delicious soda water from Schweppes. The British Museum. It's got a picture of a carriage on the front, right? Soda water. We call this su da shui in Chinese. Probably saying that, my accent's probably not amazing there, but listening to some of those other foreigners talk, I feel like mine's doing okay. Then this thing here, that says qi shui. That's literally means gas water. All right, let's try it out here. Yummy. Is this what you guys want? Food reviews? Come on. Get out of here with that. Can you increase your mic volume? Seriously? It's showing me as like basically in the red. I'll tell you what I'll do. Alex, who says, can you increase your mic volume? I'm going to look at this video in post and see what the volume is. If it is too low, I will raise it. So next time it will be much louder. Where's the kitty cat? Fine. Be right back. Boy, your attention. Oh, actually, do the little girl. Oh, you'll be fine. Oh, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry. They don't judge you based on your fashion sense, okay? Nobody's going to judge you based on your fashion, all right? Nobody's going to judge you based on your sweater. No, that's fine. Huh? You want to do like a little glamour shot? Oh, so this is the girl. She's very, very, very small. And she loves meowing. Meowing and eating plastic. Those are two of her hobbies. Right? All right, let me spin you over this way. Oh, you'll be fine. She loves to be involved with everything that's going on. Right, Joshua? Here, let me cut out some of this dirt you got going on. Oh, look at that. So if you look at my website, which is hotpot.team, You can see her on there. She's one of the 4 members. Right? Anything to say? Huh? No purr for them? Yeah? She's resigned. This is a girl. Double Tap says, is she indoor or outdoor cat? I have 2 cats. This is the female. She's very small. And the boy is very, very fat. And they are both indoor only. And I've always only had indoor cats. When I was young, my mother had 2 cats that were outdoor cats, but they always had ears that would get cut up from fights and everything. And, you know, they can get run over, all that kind of stuff. Not really into it. All right, kitty, get out of here. Stop stealing the limelight. All right, guys. Yes, she is sleepy. I just grabbed her from her from her rest. What's her title on Hot Pot Team? Let's take a look. Oh, she's back now. Oh, why are you walking over here now, huh? What's this stupid thing doing? Oh, there we go. So there you go. She is the print media expert and skin cleaner. Now she does the skin cleaning with her tongue. Okay. Nathan, do you get the money from Super Stickers? Yes, I do everything. So there's nobody else. It's not like a one of those teams where like you know, a bunch of people split it or something. That's me. That's my girlfriend. That's a fat boy. His quote is, "I'm picky about food," and this one's is, "I eat plastic." Nathan, where can I buy Master Magic? You can get it online for free. First, you need DOSBox, which is a DOS emulator, and then I'm trying to. Is it Abandonia? I think has it. It's a little bit weird because there's different versions. Basically, it's such a great game that this wants you to buy it now. Hang on. It's such a great game, but it was very buggy, and so there's been basically community patches in which people have edited the game, used hex editors to actually fix some of the issues. And so there's all these different weird versions, okay? But basically, the idea is you download the game, and then you need to sort of pay attention to the version that you've got access to. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So this web page here, I'll post it in the chat, is where you can download it from. And now this will get you version probably 131. Please support, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here it is. Mom.zip. Anyway, probably you'll get version 1.31. There's a newer version called 1.40, which is unofficial, and then 1.41N, which you can find by searching for insecticide. Insecticide Mom. So this is a highly recommended change. Basically, it's mostly bug fixes, with a couple of other things. As you can see, it's many bug fixes and little changes. And then after 1.4n, so after this, then there's another thing, which is 1.5 patch, which is by different people, which is a separate thing. So let me just put it to you this way. If you want to play the technically official version, that's 1.31. If you want to play the latest version that's basically exactly the same as the official one, but with more bug fixes and stuff, that's 1.40n. But if you want to play the sort of best, newest, goodest one, if you will, then that's the 1.50 patch, which has a ton of changes. There's a few things about it that I don't really like, but it's overall very good. Support Hotpot King. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 20 bucks. And thank you for the flipping GLHF. But bet he has a powerful workstation. I do, actually. Which is funny when somebody wrote, oh, his computer probably crashed, restart it. I'm like, this thing is a beast, man. Master Magic is on Steam too. Yes, so eventually I think somebody finally purchased the rights to this game, and now I believe it's the people who are making this 1.50. Now they are charging money for even more updated stuff. And I think they're calling it, what am I doing? Steam. I think they're calling it Caster of Magic now. It's a little confusing. I actually haven't tried the Steam version. I don't know if it's any different. What I have is the 1.50 version. The official version has more bugs than the unofficial version? Yes, the official version has more bugs. Nathan, thanks your donators. Thank you, everybody who has donated on Super Chat. Oh, here's another one. $1.49 with a beautiful cat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I didn't notice that. I think I was messing around with the cat. So if you want to find it on Steam, I think it's called Caster of Magic, rather confusingly. Yeah. So I might actually try this. There's a few things I don't like about the 1.50 patch, which if you don't play the game, you won't understand anyway, so I won't tell you, but there's a few. If this has a bunch of updates that's even better, I might have to do it. Anyway, guys, I think, does Nathan Rich support to impeach Trump? Yes, as I covered in the earlier parts of this video, you can rewind, but basically because he has been inciting insurrection in Hong Kong for at least a year, I definitely support it. All right, guys, I'm taking off. Adios. Good luck. Godspeed. Thanks, everybody. I will let you know if Caster of Magic is good, if I decide to go with it. And cheers. Thanks for spending a little time with me. And I will try to make the experience a little better in the future.